Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. A tremendous game of football for the neutral. I don't know what a neutral is, but it was.
I believe it's someone who doesn't support either club.
I don't think there's no such thing between fantasy football and betting.
Well, I suppose Leicester would probably think we want them to draw. Arsenal fans would probably think we want them to draw. So,
okay, I don't know. Okay, fair enough. It was a good game of football. Very, very good game of
first
football.
half was very good, yeah.
Second half.
No, the winning goal was great. It just mean it got sloppy, didn't it? I think players got tired in the second half because the pace of the game in the first half was quite high, wasn't it? Obviously, it was going end to end in the first 10-15 minutes.
I think we just managed it better in the second
did.
half. I think we just managed the game better and took it away from them a little bit.
We were resilient, and I like that. I think after we conceded the second goal, I don't think we'd look like we were going to concede again. We just looked a bit more assured in ourselves.
Bit of fight in us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wednesday night it was mentioned that there's a few incidents with their players, like when we scored the second goal and obviously when they pulled back to 2-2, there was a little bit more fight in us. And I thought yesterday there was that kind of fight in us as well, not to buckle under the pressure of, we took the lead twice and then we pegged back twice, but we went for it and we ended up winning the game, and that's nice to see from Everton. I think
it helps having players who come from Arsenal and Man City in the team who are used to playing in a situation where they have to win, hold out for leads, and I know it will be went off in the game, but still Delph, his presence in midfield, his calm and assurance in midfield, it really helped us.
We'll talk more about Delph in a moment, but the team itself. Were you surprised that he went for it? I mean, I wasn't surprised because I got it right on the start.
Yeah, I thought Schneider going to play just for that cover in behind either Gomez or Delph. I thought Iwobi would start after his performance on Wednesday, and I thought Keane, because of the running in behind and because of it, he's more of a threat than Dom. I thought he'd play in this game, and I thought it was time to unleash him, and he did. So yeah, I was generally happy with the team. I was a bit concerned with the midfield because structurally, defensively, it won't work in every game, but in this game, it got us over the line.
Yeah, there was an element of risk to it. Yeah. Of course, there was. We didn't start without a recognised holding midfielder, defensive midfielder, and that was very obvious. And I thought it was most obvious in set pieces where you could see we were lacking that extra man, maybe that player to sit in front of them. Also, when they went long, if you have a centre midfielder like Schneidlin, who will drop in and sit in front of the back four for you.
Or becomes a third centre back.
Exactly, but just sit in front and go for a lot of those high balls, allowing the centre backs to just drop off. No, and then there's your little extra bit of security. Well, we didn't have that yesterday, but what we lost in going, defending, we took advantage of going forward. Yes, so that shows you that. There has to be a risk factor. I've said it for a long time, and maybe it's finding that balance of having players who are good enough to do that. But you've got to be able to risk. You've got to be prepared to risk losing a game to win a game.
Yeah, there's a trade-off, isn't there? Because obviously if you go very negative and you've got two, say, sit midfielders in that game, then basically you only got four attackers, essentially, because you have no one support from midfield then. And with this game yesterday, I did noticeable differences that when Delph went high and got closer to play, because a lot of the time Alex Iwobi picked him out in the middle when he was high, which was good because he kept us in possession instead of having to go down the side and get more cramped to put us back in space. He spread to the other side with Gylfi, Coleman or Richarlison in space. So I think that it helped us having that someone who bit prepared. In the first couple of games, Gomez was a bit hesitant to go forward, and in this game he got higher as well. So I think that helped us a lot when we were going forward.
Yeah, I thought a lot of people had their best games so far this season. And I think I know it's only 4 games gone, but it shows that integrating better players getting fitter, a slight change to the system, and things are just moving along. And I thought it was important that we took the lead early because, again, Wolves are a good side and they, did well last season. They've done well in the Europa League so far, and they're into the group stages. But I thought, well, if we go after them early, there could be that element of fatigue if they've rested players because of Thursday night. And luckily we did, and within the first 5 minutes we caused a mistake again, going from the front. Yeah. Pushing from the front, and it's felt to Richarlison nice after a little mix up with the goal in Conor Cody. And to be fair, he finished it really well.
So honestly, how many times could he get that in again? It was such a good finish because he basically got it just under the bar where the player was trying to head it away. And Obviously, kick bounced off Keane's foot, so we got the assist for it, but I don't know whether he meant it or not, but it was a great finish. And as I say, I put you 1-0 in front, it makes you a bit more comfortable in the game then, and that. But then, obviously, Everton, you know...
but Richarlison was brilliant, wasn't it? Let's have a look at some of his numbers. There we go. Touches 63, goals 2, shots 3, on target 3. I mean, that's...
Well, the third one was the one where he came off the right and bet with his weaker foot, and another inch or two, and his position wouldn't have got there, but it was fantastic.
Would that have been a perfect hat-trick?
Yeah.
With his first goal with right foot?
Yeah.
That was a great effort, that. But to have 3 shots and have 3 on target shows his influence on his game.
This is why sometimes I think that if he was close to the goal, he'd have more impact, because when he is in the box, look how deadly he's got 2 goals.
I still like him at where he is. I've got no problem with that. I think that central role would take something, and I know a lot of people disagree, and you might disagree with me, but well, that's fair enough. But I still think actually him playing on the right gives him more freedom and he's a bit more less susceptible, to having people tracking him around the pitch.
Right, yeah, that's true. The only issue I have is when he's out on the wing, his passing still needs work, and his dribbling, his decision making sometimes. And I think the closer he is to goal, yes, it does disguise his runs coming in from out wide, I agree. There's a way, if you play 2 up top, though, that you could have him as your sort of drifting player, he just drifts around the field. But as I say, I think Marco Silva likes the system he's got now. So on the right, maybe a bit more narrow is fine by me. The system changed, though, if you look at it. Like, Iwobi was really had a free role, really. He was running across, so Gylfi the same. He sort of interchanged, and Charleston on the left. And
we'll continue with the stats. Go on. Successful passes 24, successful long balls 4, chances created 1, pass accuracy 77. You're all happy with that?
Yeah, pass accuracy doesn't really mean much when you're Richarlison, because his game isn't really passing. It's, as long as it's not in the 60s or the 50s, it's fine. Long balls, he's probably getting up to Keane, really. And successful passes, I don't mind. That's not too bad for a winger, because you need them to be in the game. I thought actually Iwobi and Sigurdsson should have been in the game more, because when they were on the ball, things happened. And you know, when you can get them 2 playing, then Everton play better. And I think that's what we need to do in future, is get the ball to them more often. Yeah,
I think we've got another one as well. Foul suffered. I mean, he's brilliant at getting fouls.
Just because it takes the pressure off, isn't he? And he is good at winning fouls. Put his body in the right places to get fouled. And this is the most important, really. And we haven't got interceptions on here, but I think it was 9 recoveries or something around that. And he really is good at winning the ball back in forward areas. Now I know people say that Gylfi's a good press, which he is, but he doesn't win the ball back as much as Richarlison. Gylfi might put them under pressure, so they do make mistakes. That's fair enough. But Richarlison is so important to the system in the fact that he wins it so high and he works so hard. Like, he covers Coleman really a lot when Coleman can't get back, so he's really important to the system.
No, I thought his defensive work was brilliant yesterday, just tracking back. He had the bit between his teeth as well yesterday. He looked fitter, he looked on it, he looked like Wednesday he looked a bit moody, and then he got his goal, and yesterday he just looked on it from the start and thought, I want this game. I'm going to take this game by the scruff of the neck, and I'm gonna win this game for Everton if I can. And obviously he ended up getting their player sent off as well, which showed the frustration. They couldn't really deal with them, and that's what you need, isn't it? You need a player that the opposition can't deal with, and that's what Richarlison's is when he's at his best. And it's just getting more of those performances. And to be fair, it's not like you don't get those performances a lot.
He's 22. He's still learning. At the end of the day, when he's 20s in his prime, 25, 26, he should be a much more complete player. So, but we're going to, getting a good version of him now. Good's going to be in a year or two, though.
But he started the scoring, and obviously a good goal, and that little bounce finish, which I thought was quite interesting, whether he meant it or not. But
well, it helped, didn't it? Because it sort of tricked the play, moved.
But again, I mean, like the game against Villa, we end up conceding sloppy goals, and that the equaliser was very, very poor. Well,
the issue started because Dean didn't really understand that Traore is an absolute monster player in terms of he's so fast, so strong. And once he gets man-on-man with you, it's pretty hard to stop him. And basically the ball came long, he took it and he just muscled him away.
Dean's got that ball. Yeah. That's the thing, he's got it, he's watching it, and really, I'm thinking, well, just cut it out. Just either take a he likes to do that thing, doesn't he, where he almost leaves it for the last minute and then hooks it away.
Yeah.
And I just don't think, like you just said, I just don't think he appreciated how big and how strong and how many protein power shakes that lad is on.
He's a super athlete.
He's not.
His final ball's not great.
That's not natural.
His final ball is not great, but he can be dangerous and he's getting better. For some reason, he's really good under Tony Pulis. I don't know why, but he's going to cause problems. And for the first half, he did cause
got those
problems.
muscles cleaning his shoes, making them as white as he can.
Yeah, but he rolled, obviously. Dean got to the byline, put the ball across, and then Coleman sort of kicked the ball against himself, didn't he, whatever he did. And then Saiss finished, didn't he? It was sadly a typical goal. Everton don't really concede good goals a lot of the time. It seems to be a mistake more than anything.
That's the most frustrating thing about Everton, isn't it? It's that we tend not to, or from our point of view anyway, I mean, other teams will beg to differ, but we tend not to concede the types of goals the way we go. Fair enough. We'll always analyse them to death, and rightly so, because and that's what the manager will do. The manager will always say, well, you shouldn't have lost the ball 20 yards further back or whatever, but this was just a clear. I think it was just, like we were saying, Luca Dean not appreciating the power and the strength of the player. He ends up, and once he gets goal side of him, there's nothing he can do. He can't touch him because it's going to be a penalty. Yeah, exactly. And we've seen that last year. Pretty much the same way that they scored their first goal last season when they got a penalty was the same thing. Bain's not appreciating the lads getting past them and then brought him down. Dean lets him go, and I mean, as you just said there, Coleman gets the ball stuck under his feet, and they score. But again, luckily enough, we go back into the game and we're straight back at it, and it's good play again. Fantastic. They cleared it, didn't they? I think it was Keane.
Richarlison. Keane hooked it back towards Richarlison. Then Richarlison kicked it over. And Gylfi was coming back off from an offside position. But Conor Cody tracked his run and led him back onside, essentially. And then Gylfi, really smart reaction. And then an absolute beautiful ball.
It's a fantastic ball.
It is, because it's on the bounce.
It's Beckham-esque.
It was, yeah.
Beckham-esque it was. It was one of those long drifting curling balls.
And it was the perfect pace, because Iwobi had the chance to adjust himself in the air and head back towards where its precision come from, making it harder for him to save, and that's how he scored the goal. I think that's what you want. If you want your players coming to the back post, you went over Keane's head there. I
think that's the difference, isn't it? I think with Iwobi, it's the irony is I think he scored one headed goal, or maybe not even any headed goals at Arsenal.
He scored 2 in a week.
He scored 2 in a week from pretty similar situations, being at the back post, being a left-sided player. And that's something we've massively missed, and that's something Bernard simply doesn't give us. And I appreciate how good Bernard is, and I really like Bernard, and he's going to be an option this season, whether it be off the left, whether it be centre, whether it be on the right, whatever. But he does not occupy the back post, and he certainly doesn't occupy the back post like a Iwobi. He doesn't give you a physical presence. No. He doesn't give, we've just been talking about Richarlison and how he plays off the right. I mean, the way you want to look at it is that they're 3 forwards, and the midfield comes across. And actually the way Sigurdsson played, and has played in the last couple of games, drifting out to the right-hand side does suggest that we could get a 3. And Sigurdsson, even though he's more advanced of the other two, is playing more of a 3. If those two players can get in, I mean, think about it. Our second goal and our third goal have both come from crosses where they've come in from one side, and the wide player is coming in, headed it in a central position.
That's what Stale, and that's what Sané, and that's what them two over the park do as well, don't they? That's how they come in the back post, they make well-timed runs, and that's you need to play your wingers to add to goals, because basically they've got Richarlison, who's basically our striker really, because he scores, he'll score, and we need Keane to get up and running on that fast, but then we need Iwobi to sort of chip in, and obviously Sigurdsson as well. So yeah, I think the way it worked and the way the movement was much better in this game. We were going to spot the system later, but not as rigid. There was much more freedom of movement, and it helped Sigurdsson a lot, really, as we get to.
Yeah, I think it helped quite a few players out. I think it helped. Gomez, and again we'll talk about more in a moment. But I don't know whether it's something they've consciously been working on. But I think with Iwobi, I think we will see a player who wants to just get forward. He's got the discipline. He's fit. He can get round the pitch. But he wants to get at that back post, and suddenly that creates so many more options. Because like you've just said there, last week against Villa, I looked at how many times we had the ball out wide and how many plays we had in the box and how much of a real threat we had, and it was minimal. It was
usually Gylfi and Tom, really, wasn't it? Yeah,
whereas,
maybe Richarlison. Yeah.
Whereas yesterday I look at it, and every time we had the ball wide, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the one Sigurdsson put over early on.
Yeah,
we had 3 players in really central areas.
Actually, yeah, I forgot. most keen did a lovely cross. Sigurdsson just had it over, didn't he? That was before that
goal. But we had 3 players really central. We did, so we were occupying their centre back straight away. We were getting plays in the box, and it was that. It's that. Like I think I was talking about last week about taking chances. No, you know, the Villa game, having Snardlin and Gomez just sitting back, and suddenly we looked a little bit freer. We looked a little bit freer around the pitch. Players were prepared to get in the box, and I don't know whether that's because they feel the midfield's a bit more mobile, or because Iwobi can get back, or Richarlison's fitter and he can get back. But we suddenly looked like we could take those, and it might just be that we're playing at home. But we looked a little bit freer to just take those chances.
We did, and you didn't have like a situation where it's just with Bernard and Dean on the left, just and they're within 2 yards of each other. What Iwobi does well is he drifts into the half space, drags defender with him, gives the room. Same with Sigurdsson. Coleman was getting in the box as well. Coleman was running beyond the man because he had a chance where he scuffed it, didn't he? He couldn't get out of his feet. But yeah, that's what we need to do more of. We need to get those numbers in the box, overload on the left or right hand side.
So, what did you make of Keane then? Obviously, his first start.
Honestly, there's a couple of things that you can pick up on him. His instincts. He's such a smart runner. His movements. Like there was 2 crosses. I think both were Sigurdsson actually. I think one was Gomez actually. He flashed into the front post. One of them he couldn't quite steer towards goal, and the player put it out. But he was cutting across the man straight away. You could see he made that run. The player picked him out. Whereas Dom sometimes he makes the same run too often. And it's quite easy to pick him up. Then the second one. The ball gets floated in, beautiful cross again by Gylfi because he had the space and time to get it in. We'll talk about his set piece in a minute. But then, again, he sort of steered this one and goes, and it was the easiest save by Patricio. But that's what he gives us, that movement where defenders can't sit. Basically, he's just moving all the time. The defenders can't sit, and it opens gaps for other players to run in. And it's one of those things that Dom's just not natural at doing, whereas this little young lad is. And I think that's positive.
Yeah, no, listen. We can sit here all day and talk about what Dom doesn't do or what Dom does do. But when Dom is the only centre forward, you just have to appreciate what he's trying to do and hope that people work off him. But for this kid, you could see, and I said this probably a couple of weeks ago when we played Watford. I said it when we played Lincoln in the week. You can see the little things that he's got, and it's just a case of polishing them up and obviously working on the fitness and working on the timing, because half the time, the problem was he was getting himself in good positions and the ball was just basically bouncing off him.
Yeah, as I said to you off camera, like when he got the ball would be fizzed in by Sigurdsson, Iwobi, Gomez, Delphi, whoever, and he'd take a touch, and then instead of instinctively taking that second touch, maybe in Italy you've got a bit more time to take that second touch, they get nicked off him. And I think that's just a learning thing where he's going to have to be just a little bit quicker in his decision making. There's a couple of times they were fizzed into him. I think there was a wonderful pass by Iwobi where he was on the left-hand side and he whipped him into the edge of the box, right into his feet. And he tried to take this. He just didn't take the touch quick enough, and the player was on him straight away. And all he had to do was sort of let it run, turn. And there was one where he was put in by I think Sigurdsson, where he let it run on too long, and the move was stopped. I think that's just a learning thing. I've seen a couple of people say, "Oh, he needs to learn on his touch, and he can't hold the ball up." I don't want him to end up holding the ball right at the pitch. I want him to turn and run at people.
He looked to me like he was a player that had already in his head got it out of his feet, was already running with it, yeah. But he just hadn't, and that can happen when when your fitness is not there and you're adjusting. He was really unlucky. He got second half, he got himself into a brilliant position on the right hand side, and Bowley kicks him, and if his boot hadn't fell off, he would have just rode it and cut in from the right in the position, almost cut into the box. Because his boot falls off, he has to stop and takes the foul. And it's just like little moments like that sometimes you're like, oh, if that had gone for you. But the manager obviously felt enough trust in him for that. And you could see, when he went off, you could see how tired he was, and it really was starting to bounce off him by then. But at the same time, you could also see that he'd started to adjust to the game. So it was almost like in terms of his game timing, was starting to get right, but physically he was running on empty.
That's when your touch starts to go, isn't it?
Yeah. So I thought he was going to be. He didn't get called up to the full international team, but he's been called up to the under-21s, hasn't he? So that's a little bit disappointing because it would be nice if he'd been able to stay, at Finch Farm for a couple of weeks. But listen, going to the under-21s won't do many harm. He'll probably play, so...
No, and I think we should take it that people, shouldn't really focus on the negative. I think the game was very fast for him, and you could see at times it was probably too fast. And then, as you say, as he adjusted, it worked better. And I think the players as well are adjusting to what he does. He's completely different to Dom. He doesn't want the ball to feet. He doesn't want it in the air, let's be honest. He wants his feet to be turn and run. So I think that's where the players are going to have to play different balls to him. I think it'll click by, after the international break, I hope. So, yeah. I think it was a really promising performance. And again, he offers us more threat.
Yeah. I enjoyed his I enjoyed the rawness of him. If I'm, you know what I mean, just something a little bit different. There's something about him that you look at. I don't know. Ask him soon. That's what it is. I don't know. But there's something about him where you look at him and go, this lad's going to be trouble, but in a good way.
Yeah, he's off the cuff. He doesn't do things that you expect him to do, which makes him much more unpredictable, much harder to mark. Whereas, again, I think, let's not criticise Dom or other players that like Dom. I think probably Dom didn't want to become this, but he's become a very typical type of striker that we needed at the time. And it's sort of made a bit one.
Dom's a safe player.
Yeah, he is.
He's a safe player, and I sat here with John last week and we were discussing why managers pick him, and they pick him because you give him an instruction, he goes out and does it, and that's it. But the problem is there's no improvisation within it, and this kid looks like you can give him an instruction, but within the instruction he'll interpret it 12 different ways and do what he needs to do.
His own chance, as I said, let's talk about the Lincoln game where he hit the post. Dom's not creating a chance given the ball near the halfway line, and that's what that Keane can provide. Hopefully he'll get a goal soon to take that weight off.
Yeah, there's promising signs, and if he keeps people occupied, and that means that there's space for other people, then that's exactly what you need. That's that. And as I said, with the guy we scored the second and third yesterday, that's very promising for me that we can get the wide strikers, and we've got to see them as strikers and not as wingers. They are strikers that need to be able to cut in from the right or the left and be able to get central and drift off people, because that's the last thing you want if you're a fullback. Centre-back, if you've got a player, if centre-back's concentrating on a player like Moise Keane or Dom, and then your wingers are peeling off, your wide strikers are peeling off and coming in and big central areas, the centre-backs wouldn't even know they were there.
It opens up scene for this, it's up space for Luca Dean. Yeah, that's, and you don't want Luca Dean crossing it, do you? Look what he didn't,
Full-backs do not want to go centrally. No, they don't. Especially now when they're all wingers.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I thought he did all right without being sensational or brilliant. He just did all right. But the midfield was a lot better, and Gylfi Sigurdsson massively improved. His best game so far this season. There was signs of it on Wednesday night against Lincoln, but obviously the opposition wasn't as strong. But I like the fact that there was things that came out the Lincoln game that were taken in this game, and he just looked a lot more. There was a lot more movement from him. He wasn't standing in that static position all the time. He was trying. We seen him get wide, set up one goal, and suddenly his influence on the team becomes so important, because you just look at the play and go, well, actually now you can see all the technique. It's right there, but it's being used in the right way. And I don't know whether it's fitness, I don't know whether it's the change of personnel, better players in and around him, moving for him so there's more space for him to go in, more instruction from the manager to be a little bit more versatile. Hey, there's players here, there's Bernard sitting on the bench over there. You need to start upping it a little bit, but whatever it was, it seemed to work.
Yeah, I looked at a couple of ways. I think he was much better, and there was some things that didn't come off, but that he hasn't tried in previous games. There was a lot of balls that he tried that he hadn't tried. He got the ball more in general, so it makes him a better player when he gets the ball more. I think sometimes he finds himself hard to get the ball because he's not super quick, and so basically a lot of the time, I think what worked in this game in our favour is two things: is the fact that Keane runs in beyond, which Dom doesn't, so he stretches the defence further back, which opens that space for players. Yeah, so opens that space. And the fact they play with a wing-back, when Van Aegre got caught high up, you had an overload then. The third centre-back body had to come out. And then you've got Coleman, Sigurdsson and Richarlison. What Richarlison did is essentially swap positions with Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson then with his wonderful technique across the ball from a wide position, and Richarlison get in the box, and that's how it caused them problems. Basically, we overloaded with 3 players against 2 at all times in that area because the full-back. Now, whether we can do this into four-man defence, we'll have to see, but it showed how to work Sigurdsson better, and much like you said, Beckham-esque. You know, where like sort of Coleman makes a dummy run like Neville used to do,
Yeah.
creates half a yard of space, and Gylfi's technique's so good. You know, whether off a dead ball or off running with the running and crossing, like we've seen for the first goal, that it's going to cause problems. His delivery's fantastic, so we need to get him on the ball. I'd like to see him and Iwobi link up a bit more. They didn't link up as much, and I think that's there's when they get them two working off each other, I think that'll be even better as well.
Yeah, it's all about partnerships, isn't it? We'll see more of these develop. I mean, again, this team has been in transition for like, you know, the whole of last season and the beginning of this season. It's not going to settle down till players fully appreciate their positions and everyone appreciates what their role is within the team, whether they're coming off the bench, whether they're starting games. But the squad's getting better and better. And I thought Gylfi was just... there was moments, certainly times in the second half where he was looking to break into the box. He was looking to...
Yeah, he got cut off, didn't he, before he got there?
He was looking to break into the box with the ball. He was looking to... he was on the edge of the area looking for pullbacks. He just looked like he was more in it, whereas in the last few games, certainly the first three Premier League games, he looked so rigid and so static.
Got swallowed up by the defence in a lot of ways because he just couldn't find him.
Well, like you just said there, the problem with him is he's playing as a number 10. And like you just saying, if him and Dom, there's a natural gap. But if Dom isn't stretching the centre back,
Tom's coming deeper than he is, so he's bringing the defence all the way back with him. So there's no room for Sigurdsson, and I think we found a way in this game to find him more space. And I think it helps that Iwobi is running. Iwobi's not really a left winger; he's on a free roll. Really, he runs across the line, drags players out of position. Sigurdsson same, he can run across the line. Richarlison get in the box, and it makes it much more fluid and harder for defences to manage us. We weren't just going out wide constantly. I think the numbers were up. I think we were under nearly 25% for attacking down the centre, which is much better what we need. We were under 20% last week, so that needs to continue. But I think with Gylfi, I'd like to call out something. You know, I've often been critical of Gylfi times because I do expect more of him, maybe because I think he is a good player. But it's crossing from corners. Him and Yeremina they're gonna score one day. Oh, it's happening because it's so close.
His set pieces have gone up massively because he's started putting in this very
ball. Yeah,
it's like it's not flat. It's just it doesn't really have any movement on it. It goes exactly where it's supposed to go. That's going to Yermina's
head, yeah.
Yeah, well that's it. It goes exactly where it's supposed to go. It's like if you were on a computer game and you go dot dot. It goes right where it's supposed to go, and that's noticeably gone up. I think there's a few things that if you look at Pickford's distribution and Sigurdsson's distribution, I think I don't know what they're doing differently in training. I don't know whether they've brought someone in or I don't know. But that's gone up. But you know what though? I don't know. Yes, but that's gone up massively. The ability to put the ball where it's supposed to be has gone up massively.
And you've also got in the box one of the world's best set piece centre back headers of the ball, and there was one where he cleared 3 men out winning the header. It was the easiest save, and then there was one in the second half where unbelievable save by Ruiz.
I thought Mina was brilliant. I mean, when I say brilliant, I don't mean necessarily brilliant in his performance. I just thought he was so. First half, I thought was very interesting with Mina. Just quickly, I think it was one of the only times I've seen him get caught with someone trying to play a ball over the top, and it stretched them a lot. Pickford came out really quickly and took the ball. But I was a bit worried about that. But he was so... his improvisation when they tried to close him down, I thought was brilliant. There's a few times where he had to quickly shift his body from one way to another. And it still looks really awkward. But he does it so effectively that he got away with it. So, again, another. I mean, it's not a faultless performance.
I thought he was really good. I think he's the best. To me, I've said this, that I always envisioned it being me and Zuma long term for Everton. And whether we get Zuma back, Michael Keane's solid as a rock himself. But the difference between them, I think Mina's on the ball is even better than Keane. And Keane's good on the ball, I'll be honest. But on the ball, he can drop his shoulder and go past the man. I had a look at the stats this morning. He's one of the best progressors of the ball from the centre-back position in the league, which is good because he's passing it through the lines. He's passing into Dean, who's in the final third. He's getting the ball into the final third quicker. And I think that helps us because a lot of the time, in the last couple of games, it's slow. We've moved the ball slow. It was a bit quicker this game.
He's fearless.
Yeah, he's
fearless. Absolutely fearless, which is a little bit unnerving. For a centre-back who's 6'13", it's a little bit unnerving that, but it's yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean their equaliser. I mean, they're throwing a long throw in.
Gomez from Mr.
And I've got no. You can't start saying, oh, long throw. I mean, at the end of the day, we were using that last season, and you use everything you can, especially, you know, you've used... Bowley was a big... I thought Bowley had actually a decent game. I know he got sent off, but I thought he looked very, very good. He gets the flick on before him, and it's just one of those goals, isn't it? He gets there, and what's hard there for Mina is, because it is so flat, what does Mina do? If he climbs all over him and he hits the deck, it's a penalty.
Well, we'd switched off, Adam, as I said to you before. Wilby was down, and then he went off, and then they took a while to take the throw. They take the throw, and then it's... And I think that's sometimes a problem. You do switch off, and I think Marcus Silva will probably look at that.
Silva didn't want to make that sub.
No, he didn't.
And to be fair, we didn't really give him any choice.
No, he said he's had knocked.
He was struggling, and physically he was struggling. He was beforehand, and then he got suddenly picked up a knock. And he didn't want to make that sub because he knew that it would mean he'd have to, you know, start messing about with the back. And the lad Bowley gets there first. I mean, it's not unless Mina physically gets in front of him. But again, it's that like if you're in the box and there's loads of men around, and Mina starts charging around people and trying to get there first. If he touches someone and goes down, it's a penalty, and that's the problem you face. It flicks over, and Dean, unfortunately, he's been caught wrong side. He tries to flick it away, and Jimenez gets there first, and.
I noticed this actually throughout the game with their set pieces and anytime they crossed as well. They did like to sort of try and... They did have like overload the back post a lot, especially on Dean's side.
Well, you will, won't you?
You do, no, you do, but I think that was... And I noticed that we didn't really cover it well, and I think maybe they've seen something, so maybe we'll have to look at that, but... Yeah, Raul Jimenez is going to get there first, isn't he?
But then, you know what? But the problem with that is, though, if you're looking at that before the game, you're probably thinking... Well, it's going to be Dean and Bernard. Yeah. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah, but you would think this.
And it probably mightn't have worked if Iwobi was still on the pitch, because Iwobi was going to cover that position there. So it's left Dean one-on-one with a really, really good number 9 who was a really talented centre forward. So from what I would say from that is that's a good goal from Wolves' point of view. Yeah, it's not a good goal from our point of view, but it's a good goal from Wolves' point of view. And it happens. It happens in football. It's how you bounce back. We bounced back. We bounced back really well, and we went on and got the 3rd goal. But let's talk about Fabian Delph.
Fabian Barry.
Or as someone said in the press conference last week, Fabio Delph. It was obviously his first press conference, and he made a mess of it.
On the front of a lot of books.
So touches 80, successful passes 53, successful forward passes 22. That's the big one, isn't it?
You want forward passes in the 20s for midfielders, yeah, that's important, yeah, that's what you want. And he was positive all the time, and even when he was under pressure, he took the pressure off, little turn out into space, little pass off, and as I said to you as well, off the ball, when Everton lost the ball, the really key is he initiated the counter-press, like we said, because he was at Man City. That's what they do well. As soon as he lost the ball, he cut off the passing lane to the man, or he just ran into the man and just closed down the space quickly, put them under pressure. And it helped us, because they would then go direct long, as they like to do quickly. We clean up the second ball, and I think that's what he provides. He provides that smartness that we were lacking at times in midfield. Since Gareth Bale left, really.
What else did he do? There we go. Successful attacking third passes 11, successful long passes 6, pass accuracy 85%.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. You want that? That's good, because he got into the final third. Like we had Morgan Schneiderlin on 9. I can't remember if it was the second or the third game. He was our highest person in the final. It was the first game. It was Chris Pass. Don't want Morgan Schneiderlin in your final third, being your highest passer. So Fabian Delph, and I liked as well him and Iwobi had a nice little link up, because Iwobi, I've always said this, Iwobi's got this lovely ability when it gets tight on the left-hand side, just to whip a ball with the big hit into the centre, it gets spread out wide when the short man on the other side, and he can switch play quite easily, and hopefully he finds Sigurdsson in them positions, because he'll shoot from there, and Delph kept possession well, so that was good by both of them.
Any more stats? Yes, there we go. Recoveries 5, successful tackles 4, interceptions 3, clearances 2. So what we've seen here by these stats is a really good balanced performance. You know, going forward with the passes, but also recoveries 5, successful tackles 4, interceptions 3, clearances 2. That again defensively is really important, because from what not having Snarl in there, not having a Gabaman in there, whatever, you're suddenly looking at and thinking, well, this is a very not saying Gomez and Fabian Delph are ultra attacking players, but you haven't almost got that insurance policy.
The front foot players aren't. They don't be on the front foot, yeah.
But this is the way Everton have got to start looking to play, isn't it?
They do in this game. The reason I was a bit unsure in this game is because the way Wolves' system works, obviously they've got the wing backs, and you want to be able to cover when Dean gets high, because they like to run to the channels. You want to, and that's where Gabam and Schneider would come in, or the centre-back had got and they cover their position. They didn't do that as well.
Funny enough, I noticed that in the second half. There was a bit when we had the ball and we were going down the right and Coleman was sitting in his own position and we were trying to overload on the right and he wasn't going forward and someone was, I can't remember who it was, someone was like, what are you doing? And he was like, I can't, you're there. You want to use has got to start coming in here so I can go forward. So that's maybe one of the things they're going to, that's maybe, they're going to have to look at that and think, well, if Seamus Coleman does go, then Delph has got to go over or Gomez. And it's not, they don't, and this is what we're talking about defensive players. Defensive players naturally understand that it's their job to go over and fill those gaps. Maybe with Gomez and Delph, certainly with Gomez, he wouldn't be used to that. I don't think I've ever seen Gomez run to right back.
No, he's not one of those type of players.
That's what I'm saying. So that they're going to have to adapt that. Whether it be even, I don't know, Keane drifts over to the right and Gomez just shuffles back 10 yards and becomes a sitting centre-back, whatever. That's an area where you got to look at that. And because at that stage of the game, we really needed Seamus Coleman. Because Ingrid Charlton had the ball on the right and he had nowhere to go. And he was just looking for someone to go over round the corner so he could go, right, well, I've got two options here. And it wasn't there. So that's maybe a consequence of that. But I just thought in general, I thought they were both excellent. I thought Gomez had a very assured game where he just got the ball, give the ball, defensively, physically, was always a barrier, always made it difficult, and his passing's so incisive. And with Delph's performance was just, for his first home performance, for his first Premier League start of the season, I thought you could see, like you just said there, you could see all of Man City influences. I was talking to a Man City fan on Twitter, and he said, he hasn't played centre midfield for City for 2 years. Yeah. He said, but all those instincts, all those things he's being taught in training by Pep Guardiola, he's a player you look at and suddenly you're thinking, this opens up so many possibilities for Everton in the way we play. You
can change the formation. You could have Gabam behind them too. I'm not saying you want to drop Sigurdsson, but it depends on the game and the opponent. You might want that a bit more against a top like Man City, but you might want that more in midfield to try and sort of lock up the midfield and gain advantage in the midfield, and that gives us that option. I think with Delph as well, help at Man City where you play left back, you're basically playing left wing, aren't you? Obviously, but they also like inverted wing backs. They tuck in. So that, I think he's a very smart player, and you can say you see him in the first half, and Keane didn't hold the ball properly, and he was giving him words, and I think that's he's like another captain really, and that's
I noticed that a few times. Making sure that he was not bollocking play, it's just instructions. He's 28 years of age. He's won leagues. He's won cups. He's won. He played for England. He's a very he's got very knowledgeable footballer with a lot of experience. It's his job. Don't care how long he's been at the club. It's his job to put that into players. And like you said before, listen, if you want to be a good team, you've got to. When Man City went to be, to try and win the league, they went and bought players from Arsenal. Yeah. They raided Arsenal and they went round looking for all the best players they could find. Because it's that influence. It's that influence of buying players with know-how, players who've won things. It's a little bit different for us. It's not as easy. But we've gone and got Iwobi, we've gone and got him. And we're looking for their players to just rub off on our players. And show our players maybe what they've been missing, because we've bought a lot of players that have been the best players of teams below us, let's say, and there's no problem with that. That happens, Liverpool went out and bought the best player of a team well below them, and now
they bought Southampton, didn't they?
Well, no, exactly, and now one of those players is the best player in Europe, and certainly one of the best players centre defenders in the world. Yeah. You do that, but you also just need that little bit of extra something that will rub off on players who haven't won things, and suddenly.
Yeah, yes, I don't really want to go much about Liverpool, but I suppose with Van Dijk, he did win things at Celtic. It's not like he was an experienced winner, but I understand what you're saying. You do need that blend of, and as I said when we bought Delph, he brings into it the know-how and that consistency of winning, how to get performance levels up, how to make sure that people are doing the jobs, the little things that you miss. Because at the end of the day, Marcus Silva can stand on the sidelines and give all the instructions he wants, but you need a coach on the pitch in some ways.
But also, though, at 2-2, you need a player on the pitch who's going to say to the players, drive into the players at 2-2, it doesn't mean anything.
No.
The game's there, they're still there to be won. You watch Man City, every time they concede, their heads don't go down.
No.
They go, right, well, we were going to score anyway, so let's just go and score anyway. And you need more and more and more of those plays. And that has to, because that's, listen, when it went to 2-2 yesterday, I'm not sure how many Evertonians in that ground thought, right, we can go and win this again now. People often look at it the other way and think they've got the momentum now. And sometimes that can rub off on players. But yesterday, we kept on going. And I'm not saying it was all because of Fabian Delph, but it will be the influence of players like him that says, right, come on, roll up your sleeves and let's go and win this game.
Do you think, and this is what someone else pointed out on Twitter, and I noticed this myself, the intensity when we were at 2-1 wasn't there. There was when we were at 2-2. We didn't. I don't know. It sort of spares us on. Like we don't kill games. We're not killing games off yet, and we'll get there. I think, but we need. I think we should. We didn't really sort of put the emphasis on killing the game off. Yes, we should have.
We did this in the week against Lincoln. I said it on the final word with John the other day. When it was 2-1 against Lincoln, we were just going, but yeah, we've won this game. And then as soon as we went to 2-2, it was like, we need to do something. And when we got 3-2 up against Lincoln, then we suddenly said, now we need to do it. And that was the difference. It is that winning mentality to kill teams off, to be 2-1. We've gone 3-1 up against Wolves. Game's dead and buried. Game's absolutely dead and buried. But and that's what you've got to drive into people. Put it this way, when we went 3-1 up, when we went 3-2 up, we did suddenly go, let's keep going, let's keep going. Yeah. Like, it suddenly, it was like Wednesday night, it dawned on them that the only way we're going to get rid of this team is by scoring again. We're not going to see this game out. Yeah. And by just sitting back. And that's, we were unlucky with Mina's header off the corner. Bernard should do, the two deliveries were ridiculous that he put back into the box after that header. Just smash it at the centre spot and see what happens. Stupid. But point being is, when we went 3-2 up, we kept trying to get something. We started playing smart football higher up in the pitch. Yeah, whereas at 2-1, we did just tend to just drop off, and we've got to take that bravery, because if you sit back, you're more likely to concede by sitting off and just playing nice. Because that was the only criticism I'd say this game is, once we scored the second goal, it was a long time before we made it. That's
what I mean. It sort of was a dead period, wasn't it, after 2-1, and I thought, and then they scored, and we thought, right, okay. But saying, on the other side of that, there's only two teams in the league who just destroy teams when they go 1-0 up. That's...
No, but it's a mindset, isn't it? It's a mindset. It is, It's a mindset of becoming a team that becomes ruthless. And you're right, you need good players, and you always have that back door open. But I think this game illustrated that with 2-1 up, we were quite comfortable. It only takes a long throw. Yeah, exactly. It only takes players to switch off for a moment, and a team's back into the game. And then you've got to go up. When there's 15 minutes left when they scored their second goal, you've got to. We didn't make the subs, which I did think was a bit of a criticism. One of my only criticisms yesterday was, I think we should have made the subs earlier.
Because the players got tired, didn't they?
You could see players were tired all over the pitch. But at 2-2, he made the subs right then, straight away, and they had an influence on the game. But you've got to be... It's hard with 15 minutes to go to get the fans back up again, and to get... Because everyone's just thinking, oh, here we go again. So if you can go from 2-1 to 3-1, then...
Do you think the manager and the team need to be less reactionary and just actually have the impetus themselves? Because the manager sometimes just makes the subs reactionarily instead of thinking, right, well, we'll kill this game off. I'll bring some fresh legs on, stretch them. We'll get another goal. I think that's having confidence in your bench. Yeah, true. And if you look at the bench, there's a lot to be confident of. Now there is, yeah.
You're bringing a player like Dom on, who's been starting games to hold the ball, to do that job that people go, well, that's not going to win you games, but it might see a game out, right?
He did a good lovely
you bring in a player. You're bringing up like Bernard on. Now, I thought Bernard was great when he came on, in terms of he kept them pinned back. All right, his final delivery mightn't have been good, but he helped set up the third goal. But he pinned them back. He gave them something to think about. When in the 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes, the last thing they want to do was, is to be pinned back, and that's what he did. It's real ability to do that. And I don't think we didn't even make a third sub, did we? We only brought the two on. So there was other options there. You could have brought Shentosen on, could have brought Schneidlin on.
See, I thought they would bring Schneidlin.
Yeah, I
thought he'd go, let's get
I thought he was the new wear sub.
I thought he's the heat check. He'll come on, just see them out. Yeah, but the only thing I haven't got really criticisms because I thought it was much better yesterday. My only worry is we are conceding some good chances. They had 2 chances. One where Pickford had to save from, I think it was Catrone on the left. I think it was a great save, to be fair. He's really improved this season, Pickford, I'll say. And there was another one with Saiss had a free header in the box and just headed straight to Pickford. We really need to cut that out. And we need to create more chances as well. So there's still improvements to make. But I think when we get to October, November, I think we'll click. And I've been saying this for a while. Yeah. And I think that's why, I suppose, you can see it both ways, be over positive or negative. I'm in the middle because I'm waiting for it to click, really.
No, I'm the same. But what I would say is that yesterday was... Put it this way, last week when we had no Gabam, we suddenly find out we've got no Gabam. And we're like, everyone's thinking it's going to be Schneidlin and Gomez. Oh my God.
Slow City.
Yesterday, give us a fresh look with Iwobi. And suddenly you're thinking, actually, we should be all right. There's a lot of talent there. It's just about how do we use it? How do we merge it all together? Because especially when you've got you might have Iwobi and Bernard and you might have Richarlison and, dare I say, a Walcott. But then you look at centre midfield and go, so it's great that we've got all that talent out there, but if we can't get the ball through the middle of the park, we're never going to get it to that area. So, but then suddenly the managers looked at it and gone, how do I change this? Well, I bring Delph in, I ask Sigurdsson to move from his little circle. Yeah. I bring Iwobi in, and it's very harsh on Bernard, but he scored 2 in 2. Yeah. So, and suddenly gives us something else. And he's challenging the players, and that's... So when you do look at the bench and you go, I need you now, and if you make a difference in this game, then there's an opportunity
we don't want a team where you can just guess the team every week. We've said this before, Baz has said it, I've said it, you've said it. You want competition. I want to go next week and go, well, Bernard might be better this week than, obviously people want to take Sigurdsson and Richarlison. But in certain games, you can throw something different at teams. And, in later in games, especially, Sigurdsson can't find that space, roll Bernard on, see if he can pick up those pockets. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm glad that we've done. I think what I'm looking forward to is, I know this season's going to be a good season, but I think next season we get 4 or 5 in, how good the squad's going to look. There's going to be a lot of depth in positions.
I look at that yesterday and you can start to see the things now. I think we're going to have a little look at right back going forward. I do think that is starting to become... I'm not having a go at Seamus Coleman. I just think it's starting to... You see how other areas it's... transitions are really smooth, where that feels a bit clunky.
Well, you look at the delivery of Dean and how much he contributes to our attack. And Coleman is good, don't be wrong. He does get in the box and he can take a man on. That final ball, there was a chance where in the game yesterday he could have squared it. It was either Keane or Richarlison, but he could have caught under his foot trying to shoot and it never really worked out. I do like Coleman, but defensively as well, as we talked about, he couldn't really get back at times. And
final balls. Just gone.
He's a good, do you know what? Just Stevie's going to provide in competition this season. We'll see how Kenny, who scored on the weekend, will get a good goal. It was a great goal, yeah. But then also there is other right backs around that we'll have a look at as we over through the year. But yeah, and then centre back, maybe a bit more pace to add to the rotation part of it. Yeah,
of course.
The midfield.
We can improve all over, but it's
you can see the makings of a team now, and I think that's what Evertonians want. We've got 2 years into this plan now. We're making progress. We'll make progress again.
Yeah, that's. You wanted to mention Wolves' system?
Yeah, I think it really helped us, really, because basically when Vinagre or Traore got up the field, Silva obviously looked at this, was really smart and thought, we'll overload them areas. Once Vinagre goes up, we'll overload with Gylfi, Richarlison and Coleman, basically go 3-2, because we'll pull a centre midfielder and a centre-back out. So basically it's 1v1 in the middle between Gomez, Delph and the 2 midfielders, and Iwobi and, and Keane in the middle against... And basically that's how Sigurdsson got the space to get these crosses. He made I think about 3-4 good crosses in the game, 2 to Keane, 1 to Keane, and then he got the goal as well. And I think that's what being able to drag players out of them in positions where when teams play that 4 as a low block, it's harder for us to break down because they do stay in the rigid positions, and we find it more difficult to drag them out. But I think with Iwobi, with this new bit more positional play, I think we'll be able to do it. And I saw the signs of it getting better there as well.
Yeah.
But Wolves, if I was them, I don't think you can go that 3 every game. Not that I'm bothered about yesterday, but I'm just saying I think we really did exposed by getting Gylfi in behind their fullback, really.
I just want to finish off by just mentioning the third goal. After the moments for the game for Dean. What a cross. He had no right to dig that out. Absolutely no right to dig that out. And yet he whips a ball in. And the leap from Richarlison, and you know what? After watching it again, though, I was like,
how's he get across the man?
No, I was thinking, I'm dead surprised in the way the world is now that wasn't disallowed for a foul. No, but that's football for you now, isn't it? I had the feeling going, well, I'm glad. That was only when I watched it again when I got home, because I just thought, I bet there'll be instances where that'll be disallowed for a foul scene, but
I thought it was just a beautiful movement. It was perfect movement, like timing.
It was no what, right? If you could ever describe what, I don't know what some people think, but certainly my generation and the generation before, that to me is what an Everton goal looks like.
Unfortunately so, yeah.
Forget you and your stats and all your nonsense, right? That's
the football.
That is what an Everton goal looks like.
No, it is, and that is because it was a well-timed run, beautiful cross. We have been a crossing team for decades, haven't we, of course, but that's, I was just, what I looked at, obviously the header was a great header, but the movement, he just ghosted across the front, so obviously a bit physical, but that's what you want to see.
He was playing on the right?
It was, but again, he's in the box centrally. This is my issue. I like him close to the goal.
Yes, but because he plays on the right, the person who's supposed to be marking him doesn't know where he is.
Correct, but also I think though, he doesn't. Apart from that last chance where it was another good save by Rui Patricio, he doesn't really create things off the right for himself. But again, as you say, ghosts in. I suppose there's pros and cons to both. But get him in the box and give him chances.
That is. It's not. Listen, it's not where he plays. It's how he plays.
Get him in the middle. Yeah, get him close to goal.
But I loved it, and I honestly, if I had to describe what an Everton goal was like, what a perfect Everton goal, and when you go through time, when you watch videos of Dixie Dean, and you watch Joe Royle and Bob Latchford and Andy Gray and Graham Sharp and Duncan Ferguson and Paul Rideout,
Kevin Kilbam. Oh no, sorry,
Kevin Campbell, whoever. Right, great number Everton 9. That's an Everton goal.
Yeah,
that is an Everton goal, and get in front. And do you know what? What was even better? Obviously, right behind being in the Gladys Street. But it was, when you look at the save Rui Patricio makes from Mina and how well he gets down, there was just a split second, because time slowed down. There was a split second where I honestly thought he was just going to get a fingertip to it, and honestly it just beat him by. Because that's how good a header it was, though. That's how good a header it was.
He's got for a winger. He's got striker's instincts. He's
not a winger.
He's not really. He's a forward.
He's a forward. Yeah. He's not. I'm not trying to kid anyone by saying. I just think the position at this moment suits him, because he can ascend. As long as he works hard, he can do what he wants.
There was moments as well in the game though, and I like this because I want to see more of this. Is they swap sides for like 5 minutes, and I think that changes it up. And I'd like to see Silva make them do that more. I have found it in the first 3 games quite rigid. Yesterday, much better, much more movement, much more carefree. Not carefree, sorry, much more freedom of movement, much more maverick movement. Gylfi, Iwobi, get them the ball, we'll score goals.
Yeah, it was great. I love that goal, and we sorted it out quite comfortably. And there you go, 3 points, 2 weeks of bliss, pure bliss. 2 weeks, we don't have to sit here.
June 4th, aren't we? Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not.
10 games.
I still don't look at the league table. I'm not interested. Whatever's going on. I actually asked my nephew, went, we're 5th. I went, would you take that table just as it is right now? And he was like, that is a really tough question.
We'll see how it shakes out. I think obviously people are going to round into form, but I think we've got points on the board early, and we haven't really played that well. I know we played better yesterday, but I'd rather have points, I suppose, while going through the motions. Instead of going through the motions and having 0 points, going through the motions and having 7 points.
It's a better start than last season. Exactly. We're in the League Cup. And for me, I always say it, the season starts properly in the next game.
It does, yeah.
And when I mean properly, I mean, you haven't got, which you should anyway. Stop moaning, Pochettino, for God's sake. Just tell Ericsson that he's not going anywhere. Honest to God, man up.
But Souness, he's a really good guy.
He's a really good guy. He's got no attitude problems at all. I don't know why that is. Yeah. And Moise Keane may have attitude.
When that's not true at all.
Did you know Graham Souness left a big club when he was 19?
Yes, he left. We went to Middlesbrough from Tottenham.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone questioned this. I doubt he would have.
I think he was just very ignorant of him. I think he'll realise that.
I don't know. Maybe he needs to go on like some kind of course.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Sakasati. That's where they generally put those kind of people, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. Messi wasn't on this week. After Pochettino, so he'd love to kick him.
Fair dues. There you have it. Final word. I'd rather happy final word.
Yes.
Which is good.
Positive on the other one.
After last week's debacle. Yeah, it's good. It's 2 final words in a row that have been really, really positive, where we've scored goals. We've scored goals. We've only scored 1 goal so far. We've the lowest goal scorers.
Scored 3 every game. We could see the 2. That'd be fine, wouldn't it? Take a trade off, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts anyway in the comments on this game. I've seen some people going, oh yeah, but if this had happened, then that had happened, then the other thing had happened. Listen, it's 4 games in. Of course, there's lots to tinker with, and we're still integrating new players, and we're still
half them are fit, half them are not fully fit.
Still trying to get them all fit and kind of get them all up to speed. And we had 3 players making their home debuts, full debuts. There's lots of things that will need to settle down. The most important thing is we've played 4 games and we've got 7 points, and we really should have more. That's the most disappointing thing is we should have more. But so
my final word would be Arsenal fans don't have a clue what a good player is. So there you
go. And neither do some Everton YouTubers. There you go. Thank you for watching Toffee TV. Give this video a like if you've liked starting Twitter beefs and YouTube beefs. This fella, honest to God, hasn't even got his foot in the door and he's trying to cause murder. Give us a like because it really helps us. If you want more videos, join us on Patreon, where me and Andy will be going live in a couple of hours to talk more about this game and spread more positivity. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Why haven't you subscribed? There's still something like 40% of our viewers who haven't subscribed to the channel. Why?
Tell us when there's new videos.
Boost my ego by getting the subs up, for God's sake.
Boost my 10 pence that I get.
I mean, 10 pence is overreaching. You get lifts here.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, at the moment. Yeah,
I mean, that's the starting point. Water and lifts
and the odd racer as well.
Hey, you start asking for your own now.
Yeah,
there you go. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.